We'll go ahead and kind of keep the same format as we always do. We'll run through the last few releases since we haven't met with this group in a little bit. And then obviously just take questions and answers as we go. And after that, we will talk through kind of future scheduling for this answer hour for this group. So as I mentioned, in the last few weeks, we've had a few different releases that have gone out. We had a release on the 7th, and then we had another release on the 14th. So just kind of talking through some of the things that were updated in those releases for legal professionals. We do now have it set up that related legal professionals can access legacy files for their related attorneys. The service process designee wasn't always being included on the service list. That should now be resolved. I know I've had a few people reach out regarding issues with emails or that they're not getting emails. It appears that that might be related to specific relationships on a file. So if that is the issue, or if you're seeing that issue, please just let us know. If you could send something to the help desk, that would be great, just so we can kind of figure out if that's a system issue or if it's just something that might require some changes in training.
Hey, Angie?
We did have some issues with litigation events not displaying in local time. Those were showing up as universal, I think, standard time. So we did fix that to make sure that they are displaying in local time. And then in some instances, the dispute status updates weren't always displaying on the front end.
Hey, Angie?
Some of the known issues, we are still seeing that some people have intermittent document upload failures. That is happening with some people on the other filing, and then also when you're trying to do disputes or NOAs. So what we've kind of figured out with that is it seems to be the documents and some other factors. We're still kind of working through it since it's so intermittent. If you experience that, if you want to send us just an overview of what you were attempting to do, the document that you were attempting to upload, and then the approximate time when the error occurred. That can kind of help us nail down a little bit what is causing these issues. Another one that we've seen is the inability to upload other filings on closed claims or disputes. This is something that we have logged as a feedback item, something that we want to try and get pulled into scope so that you all will be able to upload things to those files or disputes, as the status that you're seeing is actually our DLI status. So it wouldn't have anything to do with your own case status. Obviously,
Hey, Angie?
most of you are aware of our Campus Central page. I'll go ahead and open that up. This is where we typically would put our release notes. So you can see here we've got our January 14th release notes. We also have our January 7th release notes. We have a few other emails that did go out as well. So anything that goes out via Gov Delivery is typically going to be copied on this page. We also have our FAQs. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't hear. It seems like maybe I'm not hearing things back on my WebEx. I'm maybe not getting audio on my WebEx. So bear with me just a minute so I can change my audio settings.
All right, I've updated my audio and I apologize. Brian, I just saw your message. So I think I should be able to hear whomever was speaking.
Angie, it's Brad. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I apologize. For some reason, I was able to speak, but I wasn't able to hear anything.
Oh, that's no problem. You've been doing a great job, and I was just trying to jump in on the fix we put in for the service of process designee showing on the service list. It actually shows everybody related to whoever's being served, because those people also want to be served. So sometimes it looks like there's a large number of folks that you didn't intend to send it to. And a lot of that is because some companies and some offices have decided to have like 4 or 5 service of process designees, as well as relating multiple staff to the person you're sending it to. So it'll show everybody on there as a recipient of that. So don't be scared if you see that. We did have something on Friday that was an anomaly that we fixed, but going forward, you will see, more than just the person you're selecting, because anybody related or anybody in the company that's been decided to be that service process will show up on the service list. I just wanted to clear that up because I know there's been a lot of questions about that.
Great. Thank you so much, Brad. So as I said, I apologize for my audio issues. So as Brad called out, we've done that service of process designee update. I think we were just kind of running through Campus Central, which we've run through a few times. One thing that I think we may want to call out, Brad, I don't know if you would like to speak to this, is just the future releases and the slightly different timeline for this next release.
Yes, as most are aware, we usually do releases every Thursday. This week, we did not do, we don't have a scheduled release this Thursday because we have a very large new functionality release relating to insurance carriers filing things for via EDI. And due to the size of that and the complexity, we didn't want to introduce more code as we were having externals test that functionality. So that's why we're not doing a release this week. Next week, we're looking into the items that we have, and we will, accordingly, if we have anything high or anything blocking, we will do a release then. But that's why you saw this cadence where we didn't do a release this week, and it was really just to ensure that the new functionality we're putting in is not breaking anything existing, and then we can then focus on these other items.
Great, thanks, Brad. So with that, I think we can kind of open it up to questions. I'm not seeing anything in the chat right now, but one thing that I do kind of want to ask all of you and get some feedback is regarding the frequency and duration of these meetings. A lot of our other groups have requested that we maybe shorten these to 30 minutes or kind of keep the frequency at biweekly. So right now we have them set up as biweekly for 1 hour. But if we could get some feedback from you all as to whether or not you think it would be helpful to cut these back to 30 minutes or maybe space them out a little bit more, that would be great. And I see here that we did just get something in the chat. So we received by mail a motion to intervene and proposed stipulation from an intervener served upon all parties on 12/22. It appears by mail, including the Department of Labor and Industry. The motion to intervene is not found within the case documents on campus. Will this intervention be accepted by the courts? How does our office file an objection to motion and proposed stipulation if there is not a motion document in campus to connect it to? So I apologize, I might need a little bit of backup on this one. I don't know if any of our ADR folks on the call would be able to help with this answer, but my understanding is that they should be completing that motion to intervene directly on the STIP in campus. I don't believe that the objection to intervene is available. Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say exactly what you just said, Angie, that
go ahead, Brian.
There is a campus web form that people would need to use when they're doing a motion to intervene. Oh, can you not hear me? Can you hear me now?
I think you were just cutting out.
I can hear you, Brian.
Okay.
Brian, I can hear you.
I was going to say just what you said, Angie, that there is actually a motion to intervene web form that the interveners can use to file their intervention, and that can be done whether it's a medical provider intervening or a lawyer intervening on behalf of a medical provider or other kind of intervener. Or Christy is right that there is not an objection to intervene as a campus web form. So if they're going to be filing an objection to intervene, they can do that on their own form and then upload that objection through the other filing option in the dispute.
Great. Thank you for clearing that up, Brian.
Don't know if anyone caught. Okay.
Brian, this is Sandy. My question is, it appears as if they're saying that the motion to intervene and the proposed step were all done by mail. So now there's nothing in campus. I believe if they tried to submit anything by mail that's supposed to be done in campus, they get a letter saying, and that's returned to them, I believe. So wouldn't
it returned them, Sandy.
Right, and wouldn't the intervener need to file their motion then in campus?
Yes,
Yep,
they would
Sandy,
need to file their motion.
And as we noted, you would need to make sure that the jurisdiction's at DLI and not an OH case.
And yeah, just to verify that point, it looks like Francis, thank you, Francis, just put a reminder in there. Make sure that your jurisdiction is DLI and not OAH. And if the case is at OAH, then the motion needs to be filed with OAH. So very important distinction, Sandy and Francis, thank you. So just to kind of recap that, because I know a few people were talking, in that instance, the intervener should be filing it in campus as long as it's DLI jurisdiction. If it is sent via mail, it would be returned, just as Sandy mentioned, because we don't typically accept mail or fax anymore. It would need to be filed through campus, but you should be able to complete your motion regardless of whether or not that intervener has filed and submitted their intervention paperwork and case. So they should still be doing that, but it shouldn't be dependent. All right. So there is another question. Bear with me just a second here. Support staff received 2 emails for access to legacy files following an upload of an authorization signed by the employee. One was a current claim and able to download current claim. Email number 2 granted access for unknown date of injury, but unable to access and does not show up under my forms for claim access authorization. Only email number 1 info appears. So Victoria, I think we would need some additional information as to what claims you were attempting to access. Typically, if you are submitting the access through the web form or the access request through the web form, it would only give access to whatever file you submitted it on. If it was an unknown date of injury or if it was a different date of injury, you probably wouldn't have been automatically granted access. So it's possible that it was a manual situation. If you could possibly send an email with that information to the help desk, we can kind of look into that specifically. Brian or Sandy or Brad, any additional thoughts on that one?
None for me, no.
Okay.
Nothing for me. I think the best thing is that, as you said, Angie, she gets that to the help desk.
Great, thank you so much. And Brian, I see that you agree as well. So that would be the recommended kind of course of action in this instance. And if I see that you sent an email on the 19th, I know that since we had a state holiday this week, that the help desk was kind of still working through email. So I'm sure you'll get a response or some reach out shortly as they get that loaded and assigned. Has there been an update on the WID lookup being reinstated? Brad, I'm actually going to have you take this one if you don't mind.
Yeah, the reason why it's not reinstated is because it's hooked to the old system and that's not functioning. So we are looking to prioritize development. This group actually will be getting a survey either tomorrow or Monday, helping us prioritize some of this feedback. And on there, you get a rank, and with lookup is on that survey. So if it's the number one thing that this group feels like, we want to make sure that we're prioritizing the work that everybody wants us to do. So that will be on there, and please fill out the survey and send it back. But that's the main thing about it is we want to make sure we prioritize the work that everybody wants us to do because we got a lot of feedback items. So we will look to do that, and once we get that prioritized, we'll scope it out and we'll tell everybody when we're going to be able to do that.
Hey, Angie, this is Aaron. Can I make a quick comment regarding the help desk ticket status, please?
Yes.
Okay, so at least in terms of the help desk ticket status, the help desk is doing an excellent job in terms of submitting tickets. In terms of tickets that are routed to ADR, I go through 2 times a day and distribute those tickets to various team members for assistance. I know that we make every effort to get back to people as soon as possible. Just kind of some things that I think are really helpful when you're submitting a help desk ticket is to provide the help desk with your email address and also a telephone number to call you at. Sometimes, the issue can be resolved via an email, but I think a vast majority of the times it's something to walk through and talk through. At least what I do is might send over a WebEx so we can share screens and get through those tickets in an efficient manner. I've also noticed too that when people send in emails, it's a very general email, like I'm having problems performing this particular function, and they leave it at that. I've found that it's very helpful, and it sometimes takes a while because we're exchanging emails, exchanging voicemails. If they could put a claim number or in particular a dispute number that they're working on, that way too, I've found that it helps me kind of troubleshoot the issue beforehand so I have a better idea. And I think the other people from the ADR team that are working campus tickets would agree. So, just some quick things: provide complete contact information, email, and a good telephone number to get back to you. And then secondly, please leave a complete message in terms of a dispute number or claim number.
Great, thanks, Aaron. Those are all good.
Oh, and one more thing too. If you're emailing in a ticket, include a screenshot too, because sometimes that helps as well. So that's an additional bullet point.
Perfect. That's a great point. Thank you, Aaron. So yeah, any of those things, if you're reaching out to the help desk, everything Aaron said is great as far as kind of expediting the process. The more information that can be provided, and obviously provided in an appropriate manner as far as confidentiality, is great. That kind of helps get things expedited a little bit and a little less back and forth to determine what the exact issue is. I see that we've got a couple more questions in the chat. So I see if something is submitted incorrectly, it would be nice if a notice of incorrect filing or submitted by mail returned to sender would show up in the dispute or case. So that would be a business process change on our end. I will go ahead and take that away as something for us to review and consider. For scheduling notices such as an admin conference, I've noticed that only the attorney on the dispute is getting that email notification. I am the service of process designee for the office and don't seem to be getting these notifications. Is this a known issue? Beth, we will look into that. I was under the impression that that should have been resolved with that fix that was put in on the 14th, but we can take a look and make sure that that is functioning properly. And then Francis, the information that you put in there. So yep, including the WIT and the date of injury is great as well for help desk. Paralegals at our firm are not receiving mediation notice emails, even though they have a relationship set with the attorney. So I'll review that and see. A lot of the time when it's like an event scheduled, sometimes it may only go to the people that are invited to that event. So we can review that and see if it is also supposed to go to those paralegals and related legal users. All right. I don't see any other questions in the chat right now, but I'll definitely keep an eye on that. It looks like we've got a few items that we need to revisit and possibly some additional things that we need to log items on. We'll work on that as well. Regarding the question about duration and frequency of these meetings, just wanted to see if I had any feedback from anybody about possibly shortening these down to 30 minutes or decreasing the cadence of these meetings. Want to make sure that we're providing you all information, but we want to obviously be respectful of your time as well. So any feedback on that would be greatly appreciated. With that, I am not seeing any additional questions in the chat. Does anybody from ADR or Brad, do any of you have anything else that you'd like to mention before we end this one a little early today?
I have nothing further.
I would just, close with, thanks for everybody who has been participating in this, and hopefully you've seen that your feedback does get considered, and we do make changes based on that. So continue to do that. Watch for that survey going out to the legal community in the next few days, and please respond to it, because we are going to take it and based on that start to prioritize some work that we can do on that. So please respond to that. But other than that, I just say thank you.
Great. I'm not seeing anything else in the chat, so we'll go ahead and we'll end this one early. As Brad said, thank you all so much for participating, and we will likely be in touch in another answer hour in a few weeks. Thanks, everybody.